to episode 2 of the Lightning Cave. This time electrifying your earwaves and eyeballs is going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Right, so Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. What's it all about? What is it? How do you play it? Etc. If you don't know, you might not, it's not a fighting game, as many of the other Dragon Ball Z games have been. It's more of an RPG. There's a huge open world to fly around and fight in and do things like collect apples. And it follows the Dragon Ball Z series, I believe, from the beginning up until the end of the Cell Saga. So the very beginning of the game kind of tells you this brief story about Dragon Ball and how, you know, Goku eventually defeated Piccolo. You may not know that, you may. And then it kind of kicks off from the very beginning where Goku is with Gohan and Chi-Chi and his family are young, and he's not yet a Saiyan or anything like that. You know, he's just a lad who is very powerful. It's worth mentioning at this point that I am a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I've not watched a lot of the other Dragon Ball stuff. I've seen some of the other movies, but I have watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Z twice as a kid and a teenager, and I played obviously like the Budokai and Tenkaichi games. So I feel like I've experienced the story quite a bit, as well as playing a bit of Xenoverse, a little bit of Fighters, etc. So how does it measure up to these other Dragon Ball games? Quite honestly, if you've played a Dragon Ball game in the last 10 years and you're fed up with kind of reiterating the story, you're probably not going to have a great time. I think it's a really, really amazing game for first time experiences of the Dragon Ball series, but as someone who knows it like really quite well, I mean, you know, not perfectly, but I know it a lot better than a lot of other series and anime series especially out there. It's just, I feel like I'm rehashing it, and that would be fine if it was coated in a great combat system, but it's not. It's good, it's not but it's not amazing. So you may or may not have read that we went to EGX. On about, don't swear. You may have read that we went to EGX last year. We did harp on about it for days on end. At EGX, I got to play the Kakarot demo, and I wasn't blown away at the time. I didn't think the open world was that fun, but when I did the boss fight, I think it was Raditz in the demo, I really enjoyed that. And there was another one actually, which was Gohan versus Cell, I'm pretty sure. And I thought that was really good. And essentially that is the game. I would say that the open world combat is really like plain, like, you know, white paint. It's nothing really happens. You fly from place to place doing fetch quests, and there's guys like, can you go and deliver these rocks? And then you have to deliver the rocks and you exchange them for something else. It's like this a lot of times. And the other guys like, can you go and get these apples for me, etc. And I just found that I was flying around and I couldn't really be bothered to. The upside of doing side quests is focused around the community boards that they have created. And the community board is kind of like your leveling up system, which I actually really like. I think it's a really, really different system, taking elements of lots of other things. So if you kind of imagine like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, it's like a very basic version of that, but instead of spheres, it's characters. So if you can imagine, like, you do side quests for, I think it was Android 5 first. He's like, go beat up these stupid monkey robots. You go beat them up, and then he's like, cool, thank you, and then he becomes an emblem. Then you place him on your board, and you've got different boards. So you've got like your Z fighters, cooking, support, and there's more to unlock. So there's I don't know, engineering, something like that. So, you know, he would go on the support one because he's not really a fighter. But then you get Gohan, very well, the first person you get, put him on the Z board because he is one of the Z warriors, Z warriors, yeah. And our boy Gohan, and he helps you be better at fighting, I guess. That's kind of like as fun as it is. The boss fights are still really good. I really enjoyed fighting Raditz, and you get a couple of other kind of training things where you fight Krillin and stuff, and I like that, but the actual open world is just a bit too boring. I didn't want to keep flying around to do the side quests, and I think because I already knew the story so well, I didn't necessarily want to keep playing for the story. I like that you kind of switch between characters depending on what part of the story it is. So you start as Goku, then you Piccolo, then you go young Gohan, and etc, etc, etc. It does follow the story, and then you'll switch back to Goku on the Snake Way, for example, go and see King Kai as the story progresses. And as you do this, you pick up more side quests, you get more into the community called board, and you get better. But yeah, it's all kind of wrapped around this kind of empty-ish open world that I couldn't bother to explore, with an okay combat system. The combat system, you can do all the normal stuff like fire key blasts and block and teleport behind your opponent and smash them, use a special move like Kamehameha, and then keep fighting, and then you've got to like not get too de-energized, build up your ki, keep fighting, etc, etc, etc. But honestly, I just didn't want to get good at it. I'm not that you really have to. When you all the open world battles, you can just smash circle to keep punching your opponent. That's pretty much it. It's done. I think it would have been really good if this game had come. If this game had come out on the PS3, I think it would have been blowing people's minds. But in the current world and the amount of Dragon Ball games we've had, and the very, very strong Fighters game, that's kind of taken the world by storm, it doesn't really hold up. It just doesn't have much meat to its bones. It's very unfortunate. So like I said, that's a first impressions view on it. I'm actually in my mind a few more hours in. It is a background game, I feel, and my big issue, I've got the Nintendo Switch arriving tomorrow. My background games are going to be Mario and Zelda. Now, I'll actually enjoy them more than this. But of course, for the sake of, thank you to Bandai for giving us a review copy, and I will keep covering it. But it's just, it could just be better. It could be better, and I want it to be better. But perhaps I'll get to a point where I can switch between characters freely, but I don't really know. So that's my first impressions of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Let me know what you think of it if you played it, down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of me. Let me know what you think of my Batman t-shirt. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch my video. Don't forget to look through all of our other great videos here on YouTube. Head over to respawning.co.uk to see all of our written content, and go to patreon.co.uk/respawning if you fancy giving us a little bit of money to help us out.